The demons got it right. The disciples didn't. Now let that set with you for a second. Say that out loud and it sounds backwards, like a typo. It isn't. It's exactly what happens in Matthew chapter 8. Jesus steps out of a boat, and before he speaks one word, a possessed man starts screaming his true identity at him, instantly on sight. A few feet away, the men who followed Jesus for months are still stuck on a question that they can't answer. The most hostile witness in the story beats the most devoted ones to the truth. And I'm going to show you exactly why Matthew sets it up that way and how long it actually takes the disciples to close that gap. This is one continuous story. And so I want you to see the big picture with me. So let's get into it. But first, you got to back up because this doesn't start on the shore. It starts mid-storm. Jesus and the disciples are crossing the Sea of Galilee when a violent storm hits. Now, these are seasoned fishermen, and they think they're going to die. Jesus is asleep through every bit of it. They wake him. He silences the wind and the waves with a word, and the sea goes completely calm. Then comes the line that sets up everything else. The disciples say to themselves after this, "What sort of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" That's Matthew 8:27, and it's not rhetorical. They genuinely don't know. They've seen healings. They've seen people cleansed. They've seen spirits cast out with a word, and they still can't name who's standing in the boat right next to them. Keep that question in the back of your mind or in your pocket, because someone's about to answer it for them, and it's not who you think. The boat lands, and what happens next should stop you cold. Jesus steps onto the shore, and a man possessed by demons comes tearing out of the tombs, so violent that people stop even using that road. This man doesn't need a miracle to convince him. He doesn't hesitate for a second. The demons cry out, "What have you to do with us, O Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" Did you see that? His full identity, he gets the correct title, zero delay. And it's not an isolated event. If you read the New Testament and the Gospels, you'll find the exact same reflex every time an unclean spirit runs into Jesus. The spiritual realm never hesitates about who he is. It's only the humans standing next to him who need the convincing, which means a demon just answered the disciples' own question for them faster than they could. The least trustworthy voice in the story outthinks the most devoted ones. Now, Matthew didn't stumble into that irony. He built it into the storm. First, you have the shore. Then you have the unanswered question. Then you have the unexpected answer. And he places all of this back to back so we would feel the whiplash. And what he's trying to tell us is this: being around Jesus doesn't guarantee you understand him. The disciples had the best seat in human history, a front row to a dead calm sea, seconds after a near-death experience, and they still walked away with a question instead of an answer. It isn't till much later in Matthew 14, after watching Jesus walk across the water in a terrible storm, that the disciples finally say what a demon already said here in chapter 8. "Truly you are the Son of God." 6 chapters. That's how long the gap actually lasted. One spoke it on sight. The others needed a second impossible miracle just to catch up. So Matthew isn't stacking unrelated wonders here. He's charting how slowly real recognition dawns, and he's using an unclean spirit as the actual measuring stick. Miss that connection, and you've read 2 miracles. But if you catch it, you've read one point, one argument all the way through. Now, I want you to sit with that discomfort for a second, because it really cuts against everything that we assume. We tell ourselves proximity to Jesus produces understanding. So if we have enough years in church or enough verses memorized, then suddenly the light bulb comes on. But the disciples had more access than that. They had the miracle right in front of their faces, and they still needed 6 more chapters to see what a demon blurted out immediately. So the real question was never about spirits in a graveyard. It's about you and me right now. Has your grasp of Jesus kept pace with how close you've actually been to him? Or have you been standing beside the calm sea for years, still asking the same question? Here's why I make these videos. I want to help you fall more in love with the Word of God. And I want you to be transformed by it so you can walk in more freedom, peace, and confidence as you serve God. That's what today's connection was for. See the big picture, hit subscribe, and I'll keep showing you what's been hiding in plain sight.